Hey guys, and welcome to Knit Grit. In today's video, we're going to work on a redo of my shark amigurumi. So, my last video got, it was like years and years and years ago, before they even had the feature where you could like mute out stuff for the music in the background. And so my last video ended up having a copyrighted song on there, even though I chose songs that were not copyrightable. Either way, I ended up having to take an entire chunk out of that video as far as audio goes, so this is now going to be an update on that video. And I know it's been a little bit since I have uploaded. I've been a little busy. Life has gotten away from me, but here we go. And I'm hoping to start posting at least once a month. Let me know what kind of stuff that you would like to see down in the comments below. Let's go ahead and get started. Look at how cute his little head is. Also, be sure to download the PDF pattern. It'll be free for the first week for those who download it from YouTube. So make sure you get on that while the getting's good. The link will be down in the comment in the doobly-doo down below. So be sure to get in while that's good. It's only going to be free for the first week, and then after that it'll be $3 like it normally is. All right, let's get started. So for this project, you will need, I'm using a 3.5 millimeter Atimo tulip. Any crochet hook will work. I'm using a 3.5 because this is my preferred crochet hook. Honestly, as long as you're getting your tensioning right and you don't have any like super huge large holes, you're fine. If you hold really, really tight, you may want to go up, say like a 4 millimeter. You hold really, really loose, you might want to go down a size and make it a 3 millimeter. Generally, that's the kind of thing that you're going to want to do when you're looking at your crochet hooks. I'm using a 3.5. I have this one specifically linked down below. It is my favorite ergonomic crochet hook. It helps a lot with like pain as far as working with a lot of, like if I'm working with it a lot and overworking my hand, this tends to help quite a bit. I love the handle on it. It's fantastic. I would really recommend this crochet hook. I do get a kickback from my Amazon links, but again, this is the one that I would swear by. You're also going to need some worsted weight yarn or size 4 yarn. That can vary. Today's video, I'm going to be using I Love This Cotton. I'm not doing it in this color though. I just have the wrapper for this so I can show what it looks like. I am doing it in this color, which I'll put a little thing for what that color is actually specifically called. I don't remember off the top of my head right now, but I'm going to be using this to make a shark that looks similar to that one. And I'm also going to be using, that's going to be over in Henrietta, my little chicken bowl, so that's going to go right in there. I'm also going to be using some white for the belly. You could do anything really, and honestly this will make a lot of sharks. Just a ball this size if you were looking to make a ton of them. One skein probably would make close to like 10 sharks, if not more. Plus you don't need a lot of yarn for the bellies. That's what this is for. This would probably do like 4 or 5 bellies all by itself. So if not more, honestly, like it goes a long way when it comes to that. You're also going to need some stuffing. I'm just using the Hobby Lobby brand because that's what I have locally. I also got these online. Again, I'll have these linked through my Amazon affiliates link down below. Full transparency, I do get a kickback on those. But I love these cute little eyes. I tried doing smaller ones for some of them, but I think the larger ones definitely look way cuter. But I figured I would show a couple different versions to show people what that looks like and what they might want to do. I go by the larger ones now because they're super duper adorable. I'm doing one that's kind of in the middle for this tutorial, but I like the bigger eyes, definitely. And that's it. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so to start, what we're gonna do is not have our yarn all tangled and horrendous. We're going to make a slip knot. Again, I have tutorials on how to do all these base stitches in my Amigurumi 101 playlist. I'll have that linked down below and also at the very end. So if you wanted to do that, you could go over there. But this is going off the premise that you know how to do a slip knot, how you know how to crochet, single crochet, working in the round, and general increasing. I do also have videos on how I do increasing a little bit differently than other people, which I will explain through the video, but generally I do the staggering method versus the stacking method. I have a tutorial explaining the differences in depth there, but basically I make it so that my increases don't line up with each other, so they don't get that star pattern on the top, if that makes sense. Again, I will explain further, but for right now, what we're going to do is we're going to create a slip knot. We're then going to put that onto our crochet hook. We're going to chain 2, 1, 2. This is how I make my magic ring. It's easier than the normal magic ring in my opinion, but this is just how I do it. We're gonna not touch the second chain here, so this one that I'm showing right here, we're gonna go inside this first chain that we made, and we're going to single crochet 6 times inside of that chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and you'll notice that it's getting bigger. That's okay. 5 and 6. So we now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pull on your tail and that will snug it up. What I then like to do, that was round 1. So round 2, we're going to work on starting our initial increasing. I'm going to use my tail as part of round 2. So it's going to go in the center of my stitches. I go through front loop only. So we have 2 loops here. I only want to go through this first one on the very top. 1, 2, one on the back and one on the front. We're going to go through those loops only. I'm going to put my tail in front just to kind of keep that cemented. And we're going to put 2 single crochets in every single one of those stitches. So you can see there we have 2 stitches inside of 1 stitch there. The hole's a little bit bigger, but that is what it is. We're going to put our hook in through the front loop only, keep our tail in front for now, and single crochet 2 with that tail just being in the center of it. This makes it so that when I tug on it very lightly, it kind of keeps it nice and tight, and it closes the circle a bit better in my opinion. Keep the tail in front. We're going to single crochet increasings all for these here. We're going to go through and increase every single one of those initial 6 single crochet. So we've already done it 3 times. We're now on our 4th increase, keeping the tail in the front for now. Again, that will change at the end of this round. And we're going to increase. I like to tug on the tail very lightly as I go. That way I don't have to like do a big one at the end. This is the 5th increase. And then the final 6th stitch gets an increase. So now, because we increased every single stitch, I'm going to tug my tail just a little bit more. Don't tug it so hard that you cone it, but just that it's like not obvious. Put the tail on the back for now. Count our stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have 12 stitches now. So the goal is to increase 6 stitches every single round until we get to 30 stitches. We are currently at 12. So the next stitch increase that we'll be doing is single crocheting 1, increase, single crochet 1, increase. We're now on round 3. So we're going to keep the tail in the back. I don't need to work that through any more stitches. We're going to single crochet 1 and increase 6 times. 1, increase, 1, increase, single crochet 1 inside this stitch, and then increase by putting 2 inside the next stitch. 1 and increase. That was our 5th one. 1 and increase. That is our last increase for round 3. At this point, what I like to do is I like to take that tail and I like to feed it through the last stitch as a stitch marker. That way I can more easily tell and don't have to kind of count as I go as much. So from here, we're now on round 4. And this is where staggering comes along when it comes to my increases. We're only going to have to stagger it. So again, if you want to do it single crochet 2 and increase, that's stacking them, but I prefer to stagger them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to single crochet 1, increase, single crochet 1. That way it offsets that increase, because if you see here, we've got that nice little increase there, but if I do it there, it makes it so that star doesn't form and it's less obvious. They look rounder. So single crochet 1, increase, single crochet 1, and again, single crochet 1, increase. You said it. And single crochet 1. There's still 2 stitches between your increases. It just makes it so that it is staggered and doesn't look quite as hexagonal, quite as much of a star happening on the top there. It makes it rounder. It, I think, looks nicer. So again, single crochet 1, increase, single crochet 1, single crochet 1, increase, single crochet 1, single crochet 1, increase, single crochet 1, single crochet 1, increase, single crochet 1. And that tail tells me that that was the 6th time. So I'm going to pull that tail out and feed it through the top. We are now on our final increasing round. We're on round 5. We are now going to single crochet 1, 2, 3, and then increase. Notice that that increase does not line up with that increase over here. Again, that makes it so it's staggered and doesn't look quite as hexagonal. You can do it the stacking way. I just prefer to do it this way. So 1, 2, 3, increase, 1, 2, 3, and then increase, 1, 2, 3, and then increase that 4th stitch, 1, 2, 3, increase that 4th stitch, 1, 2, 3, increase, 1, last 1, 2, 3, and increase that last stitch, 4. There we go. So now again, we're going to move that tail forward. Maybe we'll tween that tail forward. There we go. Alrighty. So now we have increased what we're going to increase, and from here on out we're going to single crochet around, maintaining those 30 stitches that we just got up to, and we're going to single crochet around for 4 rounds. So just maintaining, that's what creates the body. So here we've done our increasing, and there we're going to single crochet 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds all the way down, and then I'll show you how we do the little tail parts. I'm just single crocheting and maintaining that until we get there. So just no more increasing, just single crocheting around. When I get those 4 rounds done, I'm not going to subject you to that on screen. I'm just going to go do that off camera real quick, and I'll be right back. All right, so we've gone around our 4 rounds, and at the very end of your 4 rounds, you're going to want to stop right there, like a stitch before the end of the round, basically. And what we're going to do is we're going to create this cute little tiny tail. I made them longer originally, I'm not happy with how they kind of curl and look more kind of whalish when I curl it like that. So I've made them straight and short and stubby. I think that works better for our little shark buddy. So that is what I'm going to be showing you today. It's a little bit different than how I did it last time. So in order to create that, we're going to chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to skip the first chain and go into the next chain, and we're going to put a single crochet in every single one of the chains after the first. So we have 3 single crochet down the line, basically. 1 in each remaining chain, so we chained 4, skipped the 4th, and we have 1, 2, 3 like so. So what you're going to want to do next is to slip stitch. What I like to do is kind of go through the original stitch that you went through and the next stitch. To slip stitch, I find that it makes the hole look a little less apparent if I can actually keep hold of it. So again, through and through, slip stitch, and we're going to do that again. So we're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to skip and go into the next, single crochet 1, go into the next, single crochet 2, and go into the last one, single crochet our 3rd one in a row. And again, we're going to now slip and slip. I'm going through front loop only. That way I have all these back loops to pick up on later, because we are going to be working through back loop only in the next round. So we're going to slip stitch off, and I'm going to cut it with entirely wrong scissors. If I can grab it. It works. That's what matters. I need to get actual scissors that need to be on this. I created a nice long tail. That way I had enough for sewing it in later. We're just going to pull that through. And that is it for those. I like to take my tail and I like to weave it through the center. That way it can kind of act as just as a nice little tail for stitch marking and stuff like that. I'm gonna put this right here, and what I like to do from this point on is I like to add the eyes. So the eyes I like to add on either side equidistant from the tail, and I hope that makes sense in just a second. So what I like to do is I like to count my stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches from the tail. I go through the work between this second from last and last round, and that keeps it right around there. If you want it to be a little bit further back, you can do that. Just count away from the tail, and that makes it a bit easier. We're going to take our cap and snap that on and do the same thing on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to put our nice little eyeball there. I always like to visually confirm that it looks about as far away on the other side, because just because I counted 6 doesn't mean it's going to visually look that way. I'm going to go one more over, and visually that looks about right. There we go. So we're going to add the cap on that one. And I like to snug this up towards the top because we are going to be working through these back loops here. So what I'm going to do next is we're going to swap out working with this color yarn, and we are now going to be working with this white yarn. I'm going to put that in Henrietta. We are now on the belly, and we will finish the fins and the top fin and the side fins after we get the main body done, which includes closing up on the belly. So now what I like to do is I like to go through the center of my tail on the back loop only, create a nice long tail, so about 6 inches long. We're going to slip stitch and then chain 1, and then we're going to go into the first back loop from where that tail is. We're going to go through the back loop only for this and single crochet. We're also going to get that big giant piece of fuzz off. There we go. And we're going to go through the back loop only, letting these top stitches just drop. So single crochet 1, and we're going to do that for all 30 stitches. Letting that stitch drop, going through the back loop only, And again, this is a little differently. I'm doing this a bit differently than how I did my other one. I just think it makes more sense and it's easier. Before I was doing decreases on this round, and honestly, I like having more of a foundation stitch up on here before I do that kind of stuff. So we're going to put those in there for now. And the beginning of our round is obviously where the white started. So we're going to go through. I will say that you can wait until after this round is done to add your eyes. It might be easier. I just find that it's easier for me. We're going through the back loop only. So again, letting those drop stitches go into the front. Those front stitches go and be dropped into the front, I mean. And we're going to want to get, at the end of this, 30 stitches. So that little chain's just to get it started, and all the stitches from here should just be from there, basically. I hope that makes sense. And again, I respond to my messages as much as I can, and the comments down below as much as I can. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I do get some nasty comments, and I do tend to ignore the ones that are really, really mean, and I block them. So just because I want to create a nice, healthy space for asking questions and being answered and stuff. So generally, I do moderate that kind of stuff pretty well, for the most part. I'm going to keep going, and from here, what I like to do, we're getting close to the tail. I'm pretty sure I go through both of these in the back loop only, but I'm going to want to count to make sure that I have 30 stitches, because that's what we're going to want to do. And at this point, because of how we started here, we could very easily kind of mess it up and get more than 30. So, all right, so now that we've done that, we're going to count real quick and make sure that we have 30 stitches. With our chain here, we should have 30 stitches, but let's count that real quick. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Beautiful. You'll love to see it. So we now have 30 stitches to work off of, and we are now going to be working on decreasing down to 6. We're going to be taking and doing the inverse of what we did on the top. So we started with 6 and went up to 30. Now we have 30 stitches, and we need to get back down to 6, and we're going to do it the exact same way, just kind of opposites, if that makes sense. We're going to be going from 30 stitches down to 24, down to 18, down to 12, down to 6. Alternating the rows, basically. Every single row from here on out, we're decreasing 6 stitches. And the way that I do that is, again, I'm going to stagger my decreases so that it is not obviously going to have a hexagon on its little belly. I think that it makes it look tighter and look nicer, and that's just my opinion. So what I like to do is I'm going to go through this stitch. It's going to be a little loose for the chain one, because I'm going to go back after this first initial decrease, and I'm going to tie that into a knot so that it hides this hole that's right here. So 1, 2, 3, and we're working through front loop only again. And the way again that I do decreasing is I go through the front loops of the 2 stitches that I would like to decrease, and I crochet them together. I single crochet them together. So I did 1, 2, 3 and decrease. That's what this round is going to be. But first, I like to take these 2 ends right here. And what I'm going to do, I have a bunch of fuzz all over this computer, and I don't know, this like desk. We're going to then double knot these 2 strings, double knot it, and then that should close up any of the holes that are just happening up in the tail area. So if you look there, that hole right there is now nice and closed, because I finally knotted those 2 ends together. And again, we're going to go around, and we're going to single crochet 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I feel like it's probably going to be able to hear my soda that's bubbling on the side, and I apologize in advance for that. So 4 and 5 go together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 together through the front loops, single crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 together. And sometimes you just drop your stitches. It's fine. There we go. 1, 2, 3. The second to last one, 4 and 5 together. And if you have any questions about decreasing, I do again have tutorials on Amigurumi 101 playlist that discusses it a bit more in depth and a bit more slowly. So this is the final decrease of this round. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And from here, instead of using this tail from up here, I mean, you could. I like to just grab a blue one and feed it through like so. Ignore the white string in there. You're gonna have like 5 million strings in there. You can also at this point take this out and just put it back inside its little body. I don't like cutting the tail short. I just keep the long tails inside. I find that they worm their way out less likely in there, and it's also just like, you might as well. All right, so now we've gone from 30 stitches down to 24. I believe we're now on round 11, where we're going to be going from 24 stitches down to 18. At any point in time when you feel comfortable stuffing, that's what you should start doing. Typically, I don't start stuffing until I'm after and getting it down to like 18 stitches. So after this round, I will stuff. But again, this hole is getting kind of small, so I understand some people maybe not liking that. What we're going to do now is again do the inverse where I stagger. So I'm going to single crochet 1, decrease, so putting 2, and then the second and third stitches from my hook, they're going into a crochet, and then a single crochet 1. So again, single crochet 1, decrease, decrease, single crochet 1. So it's 1, decrease 1, basically. And because you do 1, 1, it creates 2 single crochets between each of your decreases, the same that it did earlier with your decreases versus what happened with your increases earlier. So I'm staggering them again. So again, 1, decrease, 1, 1, decrease, 1, 1, decrease, 1, and then final 1, decrease. Oh, I've split the yarn right there, so I don't want to do that. It creates a bit of a 1, decrease. There we go. It just didn't look great when you split the yarn. And then 1. Again, I'm going to move my tail forward this time, so I take it out of the back and pull it through the final stitch from that round. And now this hole's getting kind of tiny. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this fluff. I'm just going to start pushing it towards my sides. What I like to do is I especially like to put it between the eyes first, because otherwise you end up with those 2 little doggles at the like ends of your safety eyes or whatever. They look kind of, it just pushes it in a weird way. So I always like to make sure that I'm concentrating stuffing between the eyes and calling that good. And I typically do keep adding stuffing until it is finally closed. It takes me a second to really realize when it's done. I don't have a specific art. Stuffing is honestly probably one of my least favorite parts of amigurumi, because it literally it affects the shape of your toy. It affects how it looks. And because I have not mastered like a specific way to add stuffing other than just adding it to the walls of my amigurumi is the only thing that I've noticed that makes it look even marginally better. I don't have like a specific art for making it look really, really good, so I'm not the best at it. I kind of just go crazy when it comes to adding stuffing to stuff. So we're gonna add a little bit more there. And then now I think we've got most of it in. I'm gonna add, I like to not add too much around here at first because I'm still going to be decreasing, and if I single crochet my fluff into it, it can make it not look great, so I don't overstuff immediately. So now our next round, which I believe is 12, again I will focus it here and tell you exactly what it is. If it's different, I'm pretty sure we're on row 12 though. We're going to be taking our yarn and we're going to single crochet 1 and then decrease all the way around. We're going from 18 down to 12. So again, 1, not splitting our yarn first. This is older cotton, so it's splitting much more easily than it usually does. Decrease 1, decrease, and we only have one more decrease round after this one, so it's super easy peasy. 1, decrease, 1, decrease, and then the final one, and decrease. So we have one more decrease round from here, and I still have a big hole here that I need to put more stuffing into. So what we're going to do is I'm going to try to flatten it as I go along the edges here. That way when I'm single crocheting, it doesn't eat it, basically. He's so stinking cute. Like, how can you not love that? He's adorable, and I love him. So we are going to add just a tiny little bit more stuffing in that corner here. It feels a little more hollow than the other side. And again, I'm trying to flatten it so that it's not like raised and grabbing in the way of my stitches. If I like do a little circle like this, it keeps all the stuffing kind of flattened, so I don't want to like crochet into it, basically. And I'm going to need a darning needle as well. That's just general odds and ends. Alrighty, so now we're going to decrease every single stitch. So 1, 2, and I do keep in mind the last decrease. I do a little bit differently so that I can do stuff. So 1, so that I can sew it up on the bottom. 2, 3, 4, 5, and on my last decrease round, so that's 5, the last one I like to just skip and slip, so that still decreases and you get down to your 6, but now I can slip stitch off at the same time instead of decreasing and have it being weird. Cut with my ridiculous scissors again. Again, I need to find my little sewing scissors wherever those went. We're going to pull that through. And this one can actually just be cut. Can I get close enough to actually do it is the question. Kind of. So now I can kind of just go bloop, and it's in. I blooped its way in. Cool. There we go. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our darning needle. We're going to weave our tails in. So the way that we do that is we're going to go through the front loop of each stitch like so. So go through this one, go through the next one. We're going to go through all of them. Go through the third, the the 4th, the 5th, this one's the 6th, and I like to go through this little top loopy guy here just for good measure, and then I weave it through and feed it through the side, like so, because when you pull it, it hides your circle completely. I then like to also take and weave it through a couple different ways just to kind of hide the tail so it doesn't come undone, like so. I like to go all the way. I like to also squish it so that it's actually how I want it to look. We're going to go through and like that. So I've gone through a couple different ways, so there's a bunch of length of this going, so if it does come undone, I can more easily hide it again in the future. So now I think I am gonna go see if I can find my sewing scissors real quick, my little tiny guys, or at least ones that are sharp and the way that they're meant to be, not just fabric cutting scissors. That's not, I don't even have fabric, so I don't even know why I have those. It's just my hoarding, but still, I'll be right back. All right, so I found some just normal scissors that have stuff on them, but it's fine. Again, cut it from the side. I always kind of hold it a little bit taut when I'm cutting it, that way it kind of it like rescinds back inside of the body, if that makes sense. We're now gonna be working on the side fins. They're super easy, I promise. So another nifty thing, I like the line that is created when we go through the back loop only when it comes to this round. However, it also makes it super easy for when we're working on our side fins, because I like to go into the very center between the eyes and the tail. And I'm going to create, again, a nice 6-inch long tail so that we can hide things later. I'm going to kind of hold it here and hold it there. And we're going to slip, chain, go inside again, and we're going to single crochet 3 times. So 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to slip back off. And we're going to cut again another nice 6-inch long tail and move our little whale who wanted to be in the way. And then that is it when it comes to that. I'm going to take my first tail and I'm going to weave it through the body to hide it. So we're going to go through here, and I'm going to go as far away as I can through the top and weave that through. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Go through underneath as close as you can to where you started and try to just get it as far away as you can. That way, again, if they come undone, I haven't had one come undone, but in case it does happen, you have a good amount of length to be able to hide it in the future. We're going to repeat that on the other side, and I am going to show that done. I just wanted to show how I hide them as well. Can you stop flailing over at me? There we go. So now we're going to go on the other side and do the exact same thing. Try to find a center for it. I think it would look better this way. It's a little close. I don't think the eyes were even. My bad. The eye should have gone like one more over on this side. But again, that makes them all unique. That makes them all nifty. So again, slip stitch, chain, and go in, and 1, 2. This is all in the same loop, so that's why it kind of looks a little loose. 3, and then slip stitch off. And again, create a nice long tail. I'm getting fuzz everywhere from the yarn. Pull it through, and there we go. We're going to take this one, grab it, find it as close as you can here, so the loop that I went through, and weave it through. And then do the same with the other one. Now we're going to do the top fin, which will be fun. There we go. I always try to move this around a little bit, tug it, make sure that they're all happy. Sometimes I'll even cut them at the same time. Boop. There we go. Alrighty, so next up is the top fin. This one is kind of a pain in the butt, let's be real. I like to take my hook, and wherever I want the top fin to be, I want it to kind of be in line with my tail. So I put it through the stitch from the side. Again, I'm going to create an obnoxiously long tail, and we're going to slip, stitch, and chain, and we're going to then work into this little side shoot here. So again, we're going to now single crochet 1. We're going to double half crochet. So you put wrap and then go around, and we're going to go and make a little double half crochet. We're going to double crochet, and this time that means going through the loop once and then twice, and then we're going to go back in after wrapping and do another half double crochet, double half crochet, and then we're going to do another single crochet, and we're going to, oops, buddy, no thank you, and we're going to slip stitch off, create again obnoxiously long tail and cut off, and weave it through. Try to create a nice little thing for him. So there we are. I like to try to weave, if I can pick up this darning needle, geez. I'm gonna try to weave that through like so. Try to get it as far away as you can while you're tucking it in and not knotting your work. There we go. Then I'm gonna take this, and this one I'm gonna kind of feed it through. And for this one, I want it to be a little bit more, so I'm actually going to feed it through another direction as well. No. There we go. And that's pretty much it. That is your shark. He's super adorable, or she, I don't know. Whatever you want your shark to be, that is your shark. I think this one's going to be a little guy, because I think he's adorable, and I've been calling him a he this entire time, so I think that just works. He's super cute, and I like him quite a bit. You can, just so you know, I get this question all the time, you are allowed to sell works that you've created from my patterns. My view on that is that you bought the yarn, you took the time to follow one of my patterns in one of my tutorials. That's your right to sell those if you would like to sell those. So I don't have an issue with it, and also I don't really have the power to tell you no. That's also another one of my arguments on that one, but that's just me. Like, you made it, you can sell it at craft fairs, whatever. Just give me a shout out if somebody asks you where the pattern came from. That's all I really care about. You're gonna make it, you're gonna do what you're gonna do. So just give a shout out if you decide you want to make these into key rings and some of the craft fairs or whatever, but they're super cute. And I imagined I might do a version of this where I do all of the baby shark, like baby shark, mommy shark, daddy shark, grandma shark, all that. And I might try to do like anime eyes. That's just like the pink phone things. I think that'd be really cute with my Cricut. And I have a video tutorial on how I use felt in my Cricut. So if that's something that you would like to see, let me know down below. I might make some larger versions of them too. So if you want to see like an extra large version of it, let me know down below. I'm going to be probably redoing a really cute plush version of my whale video that I've literally, it's like the biggest video on my channel. So if you're interested in that, I have a faux fur plush yarn whale tutorial coming up. I also have a channel video coming up where I want to talk about crochet kits. I sell my own kits, but I also wanted to do maybe like a review on like the top 20 ones that are for sale. I have a bunch of them already set aside, and maybe do a little giveaway for kits and stuff like that. I think that'd be fun. Let me know what you'd like to see in the future. I'm going to be trying to post at least once to twice a month now, so that I can stay on board with that. All right. Let me know what you guys think about this down below. If you need anything else, again, this will be a free pattern for the first week. Down below in the comments, there'll be a link. So if you wanted to download the pattern, get in while the getting's good for the first week. All right. Until next time, guys. Bye!